Hello and welcome to Express News with me, Deepika, your daily half-an-hour window that brings you 100 news and updates from the country and the world in just 30 minutes. Let's begin. India's cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, accepted a proposal by a panel headed by former President Ram Nath Kovind to hold national and state elections simultaneously across the country. India's Minister of Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnaw said that the recommendations on One Nation, One Election would be implemented in 2 phases across the country. INB Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw said the government will initiate detailed discussions throughout the country. Following this, an implementation group will also be constituted. India's cabinet also approved the mission to moon named Chandrayaan-4 to include preparatory measures for manned moon mission. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar presided over the valedictory session of the 4th edition of Global Re-Invest Meet in Gujarat's Gandhinagar on Wednesday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led Indian government has completed 100 days in its 3rd term. Indian Minister Dr. L. Murugan on Wednesday noted government's focus on the agriculture sector with increase in the minimum support price of crops. Voting concluded in the first phase of assembly elections in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir on Wednesday. Special polling stations are also set up in the national capital New Delhi for Kashmiri migrant voters. District Administration Kulgam set up an election control room to monitor the election process in the district. The assembly polls in Jammu and Kashmir are being held in 3 phases. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman launched the NPS Vatsalya scheme, a financial investment that parents or guardians can make on behalf of their minor children in New Delhi on Wednesday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting the United States of America from 21st till 23rd of September. Prime Minister Modi will take part in 4th Quad Leaders Summit in Delaware. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the Summit of the Future at the United Nations General Assembly in New York on 23rd of September. The theme of the summit is Multilateral Solutions for a Better Tomorrow. At a campaign event in Michigan, former US President Donald Trump said he will meet India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi next week. In the lead-up to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the US, India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Parvatnini Harish, met US Ambassador to the UN Linda Thomas-Greenfield. In an interview to a domestic media outlet, billionaire Bill Gates praised India's efforts to promote the cultivation of millets as it is a vital nutrient for the diet of everyone. Seeking fresh rounds of talks, protesting doctors at Kolkata's R.G. Kar Medical College have demanded the removal of Health Secretary. Indian Army unveiled Him-Dronathon 2 to revolutionize high-altitude operations through the use of drones in Ladakh. This pioneering initiative aims at tapping into the power of cutting-edge indigenous technology. India's Ministry of Tourism is participating in the prestigious tourism trade fair called IFTM Top Racer 2024, which is being held in Paris from 17th of September and will go on till the 19th of it. A 2-day civil and military symposium exercise IKEA for joint action to mitigate natural disasters began in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu on Wednesday. In Delhi, a 2-story building collapsed in Karol Bagh area. The National Disaster Response Force along with local police are working to save the people trapped under the debris. India's wholesale price index dropped to a 4-month low at 1.31% for the month of August. Prices of minerals, crude petroleum and natural gas along with food articles have also decreased. Benchmark equity indices retreated from record high levels to settle in the red on Wednesday. The BSE Sensex shed 131 points to settle at 82,948. Nifty 50 ended Wednesday's session at 25,337, which is down by 41 points. The Nifty index was the top laggard among the sectoral indices, settling with a loss of 3.05%. Gold futures maturing on the 4th of October stood at 73,288 rupees per 10 grams on the Multi-Commodity Exchange of India. Silver futures maturing on the 5th of December were retailing at 88,973 rupees per kilogram on the MCX. Oil fell on Wednesday after two sessions of gains after an industry report showed increasing US crude and fuel inventories, offsetting rising tension in West Asia. Brent crude futures were down 54 cents at $73.16 a barrel. The US crude futures slid 46 cents to $70.73 a barrel. Asia Pacific markets were divided on Wednesday, reflecting the previous day's gains on Wall Street, where the S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average reached new highs. Australian shares slipped slightly, while Japan's Nikkei 225 and Topix indexes rose 0.74% and 0.48% respectively. China's CSI 300 remained steady, and Taiwan's weighted index dipped 0.35%. Sri Lanka's central government debt reduced to under 100% of Ireland's gross domestic product. The reduction is being attributed to exchange rate stability, a reduced budget deficit, and an expanding economy. Hundreds of pagers used by Hezbollah members exploded across Lebanon on Tuesday. At least 12 people were killed and 2,800 others were injured in simultaneous blasts. Hezbollah blamed Israel for a spree of pager blasts across Lebanon, stating that it will get it a fair punishment. There were no immediate comment from Israeli military on the explosions. Major airlines Lufthansa and Air France have suspended flights to Tel Aviv, Tehran and Beirut until Thursday, following explosions in Lebanon. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelatif in Cairo on Wednesday. Blinken reiterated Egypt's efforts to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza and said that it had been a critical partner in maintaining peace and stability in the region. North Korea fired a missile off its east coast on Wednesday, days after North Korea unveiled a uranium enrichment facility and vowed to beef up its nuclear arsenal. Japan criticized North Korea after Pyongyang launched multiple short-range ballistic missiles for the second time in under a week. Japan said the missiles had landed in country's exclusive economic zone. The U.S. Senate on Tuesday failed for a second time to advance in a vitro fertilization protection bill as Republicans voted against it. The bill failed 51-44, falling short of the required 60-vote threshold. Russia destroyed 54 drones on Wednesday in an attempt to repel a drone attack launched by Ukraine. The overnight strike by Ukraine sparked a fire, forcing residents to evacuate the region. Russian forces hit Ukraine's energy facilities, arsenal and temporary mobilization points on Tuesday. Russian Defense Ministry said that Russian army had repelled multiple Ukrainian offensives in the Kursk region. Top Russian security official Sergei Shoigu met Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian in Tehran. Following his recent meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, Shoigu also held talks with his Iranian counterpart Ali Akbar Ahmadian. Australia carried out investigation into an encrypted messaging network known as Ghost. Police on Wednesday charged a 32-year-old man for creating and managing the messaging app. The messaging network was used by several gangs and organized crime syndicates in the Middle East, Australia and South Korea to import drugs and order killings. Finland's President Alexander Stubb called for expansion of the UN Security Council and abolition of its single-state veto power. President Stubb will propose to expand permanent members from 5 to 10. Mali said that its capital Bamako was under control after insurgents attacked a gendarmerie training school. Al-Qaeda affiliate group claimed responsibility for the attack. Japanese civil group in Kyoto Prefecture criticized the government for revising history textbooks. Civil group urged the authorities to face up the true history and promote world peace. Campaigning for Sri Lanka's presidential election has gained momentum, with candidates making their final push to attract the voters. 38 candidates are in the fray. No women candidate is contesting the election. Superstar rap mogul Sean Diddy Combs pleaded not guilty on Tuesday to racketeering and sex trafficking charges and was ordered to remain in custody pending a trial. Along with racketeering, conspiracy and sex trafficking, Combs is charged with one count of transporting victims across state lines to engage in prostitution. A march led by former Bolivian President Evo Morales escalated into clashes. Morales launched the march to protest against President Luis Arce's government, citing economic stagnation as the main grievance. The conflict between the Sudanese armed forces and rapid support forces had displaced millions internally as well as outside the border. According to International Organization for Migration, 2.34 million people have crossed the borders. Time to take a short break. We'll be right back.
This week on Defense Dynamics, we unravel the evolving contours of India's military diplomacy in an increasingly complex global landscape of geopolitics. What do we make out of joint multinational military exercises like Exercise Tarang Shakti, Malabar, Yudh Abhyas and Indira? What this actually means in terms of real geopolitics. We will also tell you how the military diplomacy works towards building a self-reliant indigenous defense industry for India and much more. This Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back. Let's continue. Zimbabwe plans to cull 200 elephants for the first time since 1987, aiming at providing food for drought-stricken communities. Parts of North Carolina were under a state of emergency after a storm slammed the coast and caused flooding. The storm affected public and private property, including roads and bridges. Brazil's government on Tuesday announced $93.7 million for new measures to combat raging wildfires that have burned forest and agricultural fields. Worst drought on the record has lowered the water level of the rivers in the Amazon basin in historic lows. The critical drought has parched much of Brazil's vegetation and more than 200 freshwater dolphins died in the river. 3 Portuguese firefighters died on Tuesday in one of a dozen forest blazes ravaging the country's central and northern regions. Portugal has mobilized around 5,300 firefighters as well as calling the European Union for the help. An entire village in the northern Hungarian region was submerged following a flood wave. The authorities have put mobile dams in place to limit flooding from the Danube. A number of students at Phayao University in Thailand were evacuated from flooded hostels on Wednesday. The Met Department advised people to prepare for flash floods due to very heavy rainfall in the next 24 hours. Heavy rains have lashed Da Nang city of Vietnam. The government has implemented proactive measures to respond to the tropical depression. Large cracks stretching over 800 meters have appeared in hillside area in Hoa Binh province in Vietnam. 60 households with nearly 300 people have been urgently evacuated as the cracks pose risk for landslides. A depression in the upper South China Sea is expected to intensify into a tropical storm, making landfall in Vietnam on Friday. SpaceX successfully launched its Falcon 9 rocket on 17 September, carrying European Commission's Galileo L-13 mission from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. China's Yutu-2 rover travelled 1,613 meters on the mysterious far side of the moon and sent latest images that show the lunar surface's diverse features. For the first time ever, scientists have sent back the X-ray images of a full moon shot from space using Einstein probe satellite. The image also revealed the distribution of elements such as oxygen, iron and magnesium on the lunar surface. West Japan Railway has introduced 12-meter-high robot mounted on a truck to perform maintenance work on rails. The technology will help fill worker shortages in aging Japan. A harvest supermoon cast its glow over Venezuela's Caracas on 17 September. The moon is considered as a supermoon when it reaches the closest point to Earth in its orbit, making it look much larger from Earth. Chilean scientists have uncovered a parakeet-borne bacteria with potential human health risk. The pathogen can be transmitted from monk parakeets to other birds or humans, causing infections similar to influenza. Ecuador's military began supporting operations at a major dam following decision to implement 8-hour nightly power cuts across the country next week amid a severe drought. Venezuela's Amua refinery, the country's largest, is almost completely offline following a power outage since 12th of September. The power interruption left the refinery's catalytic cracker offline and halted the operation. Meta platform is rolling out enhanced privacy and parental control for Instagram accounts of users under the age of 18. The move aimed at addressing growing concerns around the negative effects of social media. London's Oxford Street could be restricted only to pedestrians to attract more shoppers under a plan announced by the city mayor. If approved, Oxford Street would join Times Square in New York and La Rambla in Barcelona that have gone fully traffic-free. Lake Haren in Turkey's east has become a new attraction point for bird watchers and photography enthusiasts as it hosts hundreds of flamingos during this time of the year. Devotees gathered at Basantapur Darbar Square in Nepal to celebrate the festival of Indra Jatra. President Ramachandra Paudel also attended the event. The festival, which will run until 21st of September, is celebrating to honor Indra, the god of rains and good harvest, and the living goddess Kumari. The upcoming Hush Beach concert in November will feature a large open-air yoga session at Macau's beach. With renowned yoga instructors, the event will showcase local and international bands and musicians. A magnificent supermoon illuminated the night sky across China during this year's Mid-Autumn Festival, adding an enchanting dimension to the traditional moon festival in China. On the occasion of the feast of Saint Wenceslas, an annual exhibition of Bohemian crown jewels kick off at Pragya Castle in Czech Republic. India's acclaimed project Cheetah completed 2 years on 17 September, with the country currently home to 24 cheetahs comprising of 12 adults and 12 cubs. As a part of Onam celebrations, young dancer Marina Antony presented Ganga in a classical Bharatnatyam style at Kerala Sangeet Natak Academy. On the auspicious occasion of Vishwakarma Puja, people across India celebrated the festival by offering prayers to their tools and machinery. Indian devotees bid a grand farewell to Lord Ganesha as the 10-day Ganesh Chaturthi celebration festival culminated on Tuesday. In an honor of former US President Jimmy Carter's approaching 100th birthday, Fox Theatre hosted a star-studded early birthday event in Atlanta. Hollywood stars plus many notable musicians gathered on the red carpet event titled Jimmy Carter 100, a celebration in song to pay tribute to the US's longest-living president. Colin Farrell and the entire cast of crime thriller called The Penguin attended the drama's world premiere at Manhattan's Lincoln Center in New York. Much awaited Bong Joon-ho's new film Mickey 70s trailer has been released worldwide, showing Robert Pattinson's character Mickey dying again and again, making a comeback. Hollywood star Kathryn Hahn has made a grand return to the Marvel Universe. Her new series Agatha All Along is receiving overwhelmingly positive reactions from movie critics. Singing sensation Miley Cyrus has been accused of intentional copying portions of a Grammy-winning song Flowers from Bruno Mars' 2013 song When I Was Your Man. Indian filmmaker Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine as Light, the Grand Prix winner at the Cannes Film Festival, has been shortlisted by France to represent the country at 2025 Oscars. The Multiplex Association of India has announced third edition of National Cinema Day, celebrated on 20th of September. Movie tickets will be sold at 99 rupees. Shraddha Kapoor and Rajkumar Rao starrer Stree 2 solidified its position as #1 Hindi film of all time, becoming the highest grossing Hindi film at Indian box office. Multiplex chain PVR Inox Pictures has curated a film festival to celebrate 25 years of Bollywood star Kareena Kapoor Khan in cinema by showcasing her iconic Bollywood films in theatre for a week. India is all set to face Bangladesh in first test on Thursday in southern city of Chennai. International Cricket Council has released official T20 international rankings in which England all-rounder Liam Livingstone has stormed to number 1 spot. Bangladesh have announced the squad for upcoming Women's T20 Cricket World Cup. The team will be led by Nigar Sultana. The second edition of Inclusion Conclave, a key initiative of National Anti-Doping Agency, was held in New Delhi. Sports Minister Mansukh Mandavia reaffirmed India's dedication to encourage integrity in sports worldwide by promoting a doping-free environment. India dominated open and women's section after 6 rounds in Budapest of the ongoing Chess Olympiad. Indian men and women team are currently undergoing round number 7. Indian hockey captain Harmanpreet Singh and former goalkeeper PS Rajesh are in the fray to win accolades at the FIH Hockey Star Awards this year. Scottish government laid down a comprehensive proposal to host 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow after Victoria backed out. Holders Real Madrid started its UEFA Champions League trophy defence with a 3-1 victory over Stuttgart. Kylian Mbappe scored on his first appearance for Real Madrid. And former tennis champion Roger Federer hoped that his longtime rival and friend Rafael Nadal would be able to play another season of Laver Cup. And with this, it's a wrap here on Express News for now, but news and updates will continue here on DD India. So don't go anywhere, keep watching and keep tracking DD India for all latest news and updates from the country and the world. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Namaskar.